If any of you have ever heard of that or not. H.C. Harold. It's a wood axe head, but look at the profile on it. It doesn't look like the best splitter, but I believe it would split. It's an inch axe head. I looked it up. Got that one. Go from an old man that's dead now. Little one here, Powercraft. I don't know who makes that. It's a little bitty one's definitely a chopper. I mean, it would split too, but it's definitely a chopper. Mall head. I don't even remember where I got that from. I don't see any name on it. I mean, you look at the profile on that thing, you know that's gonna split, which it's a mall, so yeah, it's definitely a splitter. Don't use them very often. You can tell that one's been pounded on too quite a bit. Look at that. And there's this one. Kind of the one I'm wanting to do the most. I don't know the brand on this one either though. The profile on it doesn't look like a whole lot much of a splitter either, to be honest. It splits, it just gets stuck a lot. It will split. You see this though, it's kind of beveled out there. The axe has to be hung, rehung. The handle is completely split out. But anyways, that's part of what I want to do today. Ever heard of the H.C. Harold? It's an older axe. And one thing about it, it's a big axe head, really, but you see this big chip here. It's got a big chip. I don't really know what I could do with that. Shorten the rest. I believe it would make a decent splitter. How much that weighs, I'm guessing 3.5 pounds or something. Anyways, it's between that one and this one. And normally when I get handles, I get them from it's a flea market called the Peddler's Mall. And they've got a booth there where somebody makes them by hand. I don't even know what they're made out of. But I think today I'm just going to go to Lowe's or something, get a hickory handle. And I would like to find some of those really neat handles. Some of the guys I watch, neat looking handles out of Heartwood and stuff. I'd really like to get some of those. H.C. Harold, anyway. That I made years ago. Made that when I first started. Still holding up decent too. You see where Excalibur goes? That's where he perches at. Watching some of these other channels, I'm very interested in them, trying to put some of these together myself. Watching those guys make their own handles and then hanging these axe heads on them. That's the best thing too, is these old vintage axe heads that just lay around and rust. I mean, getting these things and fixing them up. There we go. We can see it a little better now. Oh, way better. H.C. Harold. So if anybody's heard of that, let me know in the comments if that's supposed to be a good axe head or whatever. If I'm not mistaken, they started in the 70s or something like that. But an old man had this, and he's since passed away. But let me know if you know anything about these heads. Seems like a pretty well-made head. It's just got a big chip out of it right there. It's the only thing I don't really like, but other than that, I'm pretty excited to get this thing put together, split with it. That's what I was saying, is it's interesting just to get these old axe heads that just sit around rusting and hang them on a handle and put them to work, instead of just letting them sit there. And how many times, I wonder, in the past has this thing been used? How many cords has it split? Maybe not many at all, maybe very many, but it's got a history, whatever that may be. To me, that's very interesting. Put my hand right on top of that, it's about to scare me to death, so to say. Even though it ain't very big, I don't like them, I don't want to touch them. Put my hand right on top of that thing.
How little they are. I like them. Snakes.
All of it cleaned up. Go see how big this tree is in diameter on the bottom. It's big. This thing's huge, actually. Huge. Three feet wide, at least, I'd say. It's from right there at the bottom to up there, that's probably, we're getting close to 3.5 feet. And from that point right there to up there, that's probably 3.5 feet, 4 feet wide. Huge, humongous tree, biggest one I've ever dealt with, probably. Old tree. Big tree. Now that I'm doing this for, though, like I was saying earlier, we grew up together. Well, it's actually for his sister that I'm doing it, but me and him grew up together, and he's probably really the only childhood friend that, well, really one of the only childhood friends I had as far as school goes anyways. He's probably one of the only ones I had, him and one or two other people. And me and him are the only ones that still talk, and he's at work right now, but his papa used to come out and stand right there. He'd come out that door right there, stand on that back porch and watch me work out here, because I helped him clear out a bunch of this back lawn back here. Anyways, I cleared out a bunch of this for him, and he would come out here and watch me work. And then there were some trees back here too that I cut down for him, and I was doing firewood at that time too, and I'd cut them and split them up and take them off and sell them, and burned a bunch of brush back here. Like that brush pile there is actually where I burned a lot this year for him there. Stuff we cleared out, but burned a lot of brush back here in this backyard. His papa told him one day I had a bunch of stuff that I'd got down back here, and his papa told him, he said, you're not gonna be able to get that to burn for a few weeks at least. And Sonny went around front, was doing something, working, and came back around back, and when he did, I done had most of it burned down. I've learned how to get those fires going. If you get a fire going, even if the stuff is green, if you can just get a good fire going and get it pretty hot, you can throw that green stuff on top. Even wet stuff I've burned like that. I've burned many brush fires where I do landscaping. I don't take that stuff to the dump because I don't want to be charged for it, so I bring it all home and pile it up, and then I burn it at home. Have a lot of brush fires. Really enjoy them. My dad and my brother have both stayed with me at times in their lives, and I remember my dad telling me that he said one thing that I missed a whole lot about staying with you was how we'd sit around the fire outside. We'd sit around it and just talk and relax and just watch the fire burn. It was relaxing. My brother would get his guitar and sit there and play songs, or play the guitar anyways, to kind of sing goofy songs, goof off. We really enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Still do love that kind of stuff. And when you're with your family doing it too, around a fire like that, it's something special about it, really. I don't know, it just really is. Simple things like that are just hard to beat them, really. But yeah, that reminded me of his papa. Feel bad, he just died about a year or so ago. Went in there in this house here and found him dead. Sad, really. He'd come right there and stand, open that door and watch me. He'd wave at me. He was an Italian man, you could tell he was. Looked kind of like me. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've got more Italian in me than anything else. My mom's family's from Louisiana, so my papa, my mom's dad, was full-blooded Italian. So I've got Italian more than anything else in me. Got like quite a bit of Indian too on my dad's side, but more than anything Italian. And you could tell that this man that lived here, he was Italian. Big bushy eyebrows and dark hair and eyes, hairy, like me. Friendly guy though. Things like that mean a lot to people, really. I could tell he enjoyed it when I'd come over. I'd talk to him. I enjoyed talking to him. He'd come out here and stand and watch me, and he'd talk to me about work, and he'd always get worried about Sonny with the chainsaw. He said, "Now don't you let Sonny get that chainsaw. He don't know how to use one of them things." He worried about him a whole lot. Which, if you don't know how to use a chainsaw, it's nothing to mess around with. Something how them things, you know how it goes by so quick. That was just a year or so ago when he passed away, maybe a year ago. And for the last few years, I've been coming here working a little bit. These hedges over here, I trimmed them for him. We removed some bushes and stuff, removed quite a few stumps, cut some trees down. This backyard cleared it out a whole lot. I've mowed here a few different times for him, weed eat. But his papa always liked to come out and watch me. Real friendly guy. You can just tell he was just lonely and, you know, wanted somebody to talk to. About every time I come over, he'd come right there and stand. Look out and talk to me. Yeah, I guess he told Sonny one day though. He said I hadn't been around for a while, and he said, "What happened to Dylan?" My name's Dylan, by the way. My first name's Michael, and so a lot of my name on my landscape and stuff, like on a lot of my stuff is Michael. So a lot of people call me Mike or Michael or whatever, but I go by Dylan. That's my middle name, and I've went by that my whole life. But yeah, I think he asked me, he said, "Where's Dylan at? I haven't seen him for a while." And I can't remember what Sonny told him, but exactly. But I think his papa said, "I like him a lot," or something like that. I like when he comes over. So that meant a whole lot to me hearing that. So you get some good stories too out of those older men. He was probably in his late 70s. He might have been, actually, I think he was in his 80s. I believe he was in his 80s. He was having a hard time getting around when I came, but I mean, he's smiling and happy, man, and friendly as could be. Anyways, he's got some axes here, and I think I may use some of them to split with, honestly. Can't remember what they were exactly. One of them's an old mall, actually. Let's go see what they were. Let's see what that is. I don't even think it's a name brand. It's just like a, see the profile on it though. You can tell it's split. Now this other one here, the head doesn't seem to be on it. The grade's just a single bit. Not a very big one. Profile on it. And it did have some sort of, I don't know if somebody carved that in it or if that's what type of axe that is. You probably can't see that, but it says Simmons. It looks like it says Simmons from what I can tell, but it almost looks like somebody engraved that themselves. There's the handle that it has. Let's get that on light. As you can see, there's the handle. Head on it. Yeah, it looks like a splitter. Looks like it's split. Anyways, I'm gonna use his papa's old axes here and split some of that stuff with them. Put them to use. I asked him about, asking his mom about selling these. If she's willing to sell them, I intend to buy them. I've got quite a bit cut. I may cut a little bit more on it, but I think that's about all I'm gonna cut on it today. I do plan to come back though and get into the bottom of that trunk on that tree. It's huge, man. I'm gonna have to get my other bar out. I've only got what's on it right now is a 20-inch, and I've got a 24-inch, so I'm hoping the 24-inch, that's 4 feet altogether. You know, if I can go from one side to the other, cut from one side and then go to the other side and cut from that side, that's 4 feet. And it's gonna be close on that tree. That tree's huge. I'd say it's 3.5 feet. Every bit of it. Look at that old saw his papa had. He has some old tools in here. Interesting, really. It's an old one right there. Looks like, anyways. Look at that thing. That thing would cut too. Something like that's neat too, I think. Just having your stopper and your shed or whatever, you know. To me, that's pretty neat. I'm getting in the light where I can see it. If these bees don't get me. Wooden handle on it. It's probably the original handle. I say that probably is the original handle. I don't know how old this thing is. It looks old. Somebody else would probably know more about them. It looks old to me. Pretty big. It's up to, man, that would be trying to get me or something. Anyway, it's up to right there on me. I'm about 5'10", so I'd say it's about 4 feet, something like that. Pretty big saw.
Somebody tell me what this horrible stuff is so I can stay away from it from now on. Is that some sort of oak? Stringy in the middle like it. Whatever it is, it's horrible. This is right there with sycamore. And I've got around 50 rounds. And it's around 7 o'clock. Take this one to it a little bit. Give Excalibur a break. Tough stuff. Tough stuff, buddy. Don't know what it is. Don't know what this stuff is. Somebody tell me, please. So I came here a while back and he had some of this and I split on it for a little bit and I told him that was about the worst stuff I ever split. Right there with sycamore. Whatever this stuff is, it is some bad stuff. I don't know. I can't tell. It has no leaves on the tree. The leaves you see there are all from vines that are dead. And I can't identify it. I'm not familiar with it. If I've done it before, I don't remember. And I believe I'd remember this stuff. Other than that time I came here and did it. I did it here that time. That's the only time I can remember. And it was so bad, I told them to keep it. I don't know if this would be pin oak or what. I don't know. Heard a guy talking about how bad that stuff was, but somebody tell me what that is. Here it is, the center of it gets stringy, like that, like oak. That reminds me of oak. So I'm guessing that's some sort of oak. Not wet or red or white that I'm familiar with. Try the old maul out. See if it does any better. Stuff's bad, real bad. Man. That is some tough wood. It's definitely stringy like oak. Look at this. Someone tell me, is this pin oak or something? Some guy was messaging me a while back about it, saying pin oak was so bad that was the only thing he wouldn't split with his fiskars. And I think he said that went to the hydraulic splitter. This stuff is definitely stringy like oak, but I can't tell. I'll get a close of the bark here later and let you see what it is. If it is some sort of oak, it's about right there with sycamore. Actually, sycamore is harder to split than this is. Sycamore is actually even a little worse. It's the worst I've done. Just call it butcher block. That old butcher block stuff. That's what they used it for. Man, this is some bad stuff though, I'll tell you. It is. Get a better view. Get a little better view of it. Trying the old maul out on it. Hardly ever use maul. This one's got a big knot up there. See a crack. And here's another view. Somebody can look at it from here and see how it's a different color there. Is this pin oak or what is this? Somebody probably knows. Somebody try to tell me. so I can stay away from this stuff. I don't like sycamore either. I try to stay away from that, but I don't know what this is. This is almost right there with sycamore. Very, very close. See what I mean? End of old Molly. I have to get Excalibur for this. I'm sorry, Molly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All I did was try to pull it out, and that's how tough this stuff is. That 8-pound maul, I'm hitting it right there where it's cracked. You even see it's cracked. And it's still, my goodness, what is this? Horrible stuff. So many. There we go. Old Excalibur. Yeah, that's stringy stuff in the middle. Just like oak. It reminds me of oak in the middle. See that? What is that? Whatever that is horrible. It's the worst. Like I said, this and sycamore. Sycamore's worse than this. But that's right there with it. I don't know what this is. I'm guessing pin oak. I could be wrong. I mean, I know we have black oak, pin oak, red oak, white oak. I'm not familiar with black or pin oak. Excalibur's taking care of it. Honestly, out of that maul that I just did and that axis, fish splits way better than both. I'm not just saying that. You've seen it. Splits way better than both. I love the old axes myself too, but this head on this it's a splitter. Yeah, this stuff's gonna take Excalibur. Excalibur and Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Poor old Molly. That's all that's left. All that's left over.